What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man, and yes, I am back at it again, and I'm super sorry that it's late, man. I felt a little bad this whole weekend and today as well, but I feel a little better now, and I'm super glad that I am because this is Black Clover episode 118 discussion slash review, man. Let's dive right into it. Okay, because I got some stuff to say. Like I said, this episode was good. Like I said about the previous episodes, this whole arc is just fantastic to me. This episode was a little. The animation was good. Like, don't get me wrong, the animation was good in the latter half. In the very beginning half, where we have like the fight between Demon, LICHT, and Lumiere. I know what they were going for, and I know that they kind of really just focus all of the animation on the back half of this episode, and you can tell that, and I'm not upset because it didn't take away from anything. It's just, you can definitely tell where all of the, where they really poured their heart and soul into the back half of this episode to really deal with the Akuma and Lumiere and LICHT being revived and Nero, and so that's what they really put all of the focus on. And you could tell they focus on the fight with Lumiere versus LICHT in his demon form. So the sequences was very, very nice. Like, you could tell like the action in it was nice and done very good, but just the animation was taken from it. And then like you could tell like when they zoomed in it was good, but like all the wide panel shots were off. The animation just seemed wonky a little bit at times. Lumiere seemed off. Demon LICHT form seemed a little off. Like when they got close up on him, sometime it was a little off. But like when they were focusing on him, like when he was kind of like regaining his sanity when he was talking to Lumiere, that part looked nice and crisp. But other than that, it was that whole fight scene. It just was a little off to me with the animation department. And I'm not criticizing them because like I know that they have a lot of work to do and everything, because they went in the back half of this episode. The latter half of this episode, the animation was done very, very good. But it's just at that very beginning with the fight and everything with LICHT and versus Lumiere, it just didn't really click to me. And it was a good fight, and you got a lot of information from it because we got to see him use his light swords and how much he could use. We got to see Nero really dive into the forbidden magic with the magic stones, and them coming in contact with the magic stones and using them in that fight also tied into them being able to hurt the demon at the end of this episode. So it was nice to have that done, and they kind of led that up to show that. But all I'm saying is that the animation was just a little off with that. And please don't criticize me. I mean, that's just how it looked, and that's how I saw it. I mean, it just wasn't that great. And the latter half, it really showed that's what they put their main focus on. Now, in the latter half of this episode, because, you know, at the beginning, it was mainly like a flashback type thing for Nero. Well, we saw it through Nero's perspective about her in Lumiere, or Sekre, whoever you want to call her. We saw it in her perspective about her watching as the Akuma done all of this to LICHT and Lumiere, and how she trapped him with the forbidden magic. And we saw her kind of starting to turn into the bird, and like at the very end of that flashback, we saw her turn into the bird when she sealed up the prince, or the first magic king. So we see all of that and everything, and that's what we were getting through her perspective. And then we dive right back into everything that took place last week, and we see them actually combating the Akuma. But while also we got into this whole little thing about her powers, and because she felt a certain way about her powers, because when she first discovered her powers, she could only open doors or lock them, or chests or anything. She can only open and lock it back. So spending time with the Wizard King developed her powers more, with them working on different things, and now she's pretty boss. And that came into play with her awakening LICHT to his full potential. Like at that moment, he was still himself, but like he wasn't fully awakened yet. So she awoke him with her powers, because they're much more than just locking and unlocking doors. Now she can unlock pretty much anything that's like untapped potential, raw potential, or anything. So she's kind of like the whole the sensei from Dragon Ball Z that unlocked Gohan's and Krillin's potential. So she can unlock all of that. Now she can just unlock certain things instead of just doors and chests and stuff. So that's nice that they touched on that. So then we have a fully awakened Licht. And what he said to Patri was absolutely wonderful to me. You were used, and what you were doing was wrong. And I'm glad that you had some people to stop you, just like I did, before you went any further. And he's talking to and Asta. So it was nice. And then he told Patri it's okay. He's forgiven, and he hugged him. Dude, Licht is the man. I mean, we knew, like, we only saw like flashbacks and stuff about Licht and about his character, but this man, he's fully awakened. He's like, I could see everything that was taking place, and like, while my soul was still asleep. And he comes out and he tells Patri, we were all used and, taken advantage of by the Akuma. And he tells him, he's sorry and you're forgiven. Man, come on, man. Like, this dude, like, let's be real, he killed some people. And at this point, he killed the Risen King, too. So, I mean, Julius Novachrono. So, yeah, like, but we're all a little pissed at him. But for Licht to wake up fully and like, well, I'm glad you had some people to stop you before you went too far, and you're forgiven. And he hugged him. Man, come on, man. Licht is the man. Now, after all of that nice, sentimental, and sob story stuff was done with, we got into the heart of this episode, which was the action and jam-packed part where they all went hardcore ham against the Akuma. And boy, oh boy. Like I said at the very beginning of this video, you could tell that the budget went in towards this fight because Lumiere and Licht were straight dropping bombs on this Akuma, man. It was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed every single moment of it because they were going ham, and he was like, oh, wow, they're fast. Like, they're super fast. And then he also touched on the point, like I said earlier, that because they both came in contact with the magic stones in him 500 years ago, that's how they're able to hurt him and injure him now with their magic, because they've kind of tapped into that other world because Licht became a demon, and Lumiere kind of intercepted the attack, and he was kind of wrapped up in all of that too. So they've both come in contact with the other world, so that's how they're able to damage and hurt him. And the fight was freaking epic, man. It was going back and forth. We have Lumiere throwing light magic. We have Licht receiving his light magic, bringing it down with the hammer of the gods, and it was absolutely fantastic. So then we have everybody else watching on, which is like, Asta, Patri, and Nero. Well, not Nero, because she wasn't surprised, but everybody else was, oh, wow, they're super strong. And it was crazy, man. So it was epic. And then they were like, and then what else happened? We have the Akuma telling them, like, 'cause they were putting in work, but like that wasn't really finishing him. So then he created more of his word soul magic, and he started putting the hammer down, and he chopped off Lumiere's arm, and he was getting ready to kill Lumiere. But then my boy Asta came in and stopped him, and we know that the anti-magic is going to take a toll, and it's going to come into play in this whole battle. Like, we have Lumiere and Licht with their light magic, and it's making a dent, but it's not really finishing him. So we know Asta's going to be the one that's going to come in and finish him. He has to be, because the anti-magic seems to be the only thing right now that's stopping his word soul magic. So we know that's the only thing that makes sense. What else? What else happened? Oh, so then we have the fight continually going on, and then Licht absorbs all of the elves that's there in the little base, extra magic powers, or however you want to take it. Like, they all started to glow, and he was receiving all of their powers because the Akuma said that he can defeat all these guys that's here, and at the same time, if they don't defeat him in a timely fashion, all of the people that's under him, they're going to be eaten by his little wiggly squiggly magic. So Licht absorbs all of the magic from his other companions and everything, and dude unleashes a master spell, and it was epic. Like, he erased all of the wiggly, iggly, squiggly stuff in the Akuma himself, everything except for his heart, and he done it in one stroke, and his only thing was left was his heart. And everybody's like, wow, look at that. I was like, yes, Licht is the man. And after it's done, it was like, well, they can't really. And then we have Asta kind of looking on. It's like, okay, well, all of that magic and everything done that. And it was like, well, and he can do that with that sword. What could I do with my sword? He's trying to tap into more potential and everything. And we see Asta kind of unleashing a lot of stuff at the very end of this episode. And then that's where it ends. And then we get to like a preview of next week's episode. But what I wanted to touch on was with Licht's big move. Dude, he erased everything Boy, it was so good. It was so good. And then we also see what else do we see? We see Yami and Charlotte, elf person. They're in like Yami's dimension magic, wrapped up in a little bubble, keeping them safe while they're covered with the Iggly Squiggly magic. And then we kind of see glimpses of everyone else while they're either transporting elves or standing over the defeated elves that they defeated. And we see all of the magic get absorbed. So we get nice glimpses of where everyone is in the little castle right now. So that was nice, and that was a nice touch on them to show that where everyone is. And then we get the preview at the end of this episode, and we see where it's going to be a full out all attack next week with everything. And the one moment that stood out to me at the ending of it was when we got to see Jack throwing out his wind magic. So it was super cool, and this episode was absolutely fantastic. But like I said, man, LICHT, man, the LICHT is awesome. Like, we knew he was cool because, like, you know, like seeing the previous episodes and everything, and the flashbacks and stuff. But this man went straight ham this episode, man. This is your boy Nick Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button until you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. And remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life, man. Peace out.